Welcome back. I think it's time to share my story. I think it's time to talk about what got me to this point in my life. I think it's time to explain my story from where I started, which was almost nothing, by the way, to where it's gone now. And we don't have to talk about numbers. Let's talk about concepts. Let's talk about lifestyle changes. And maybe you'll enjoy it. Starting off long ago, I was in law enforcement. I was a police officer for 15 years. And during that time, I had the pleasure of working with a ton of people on a ton of different projects. So I started at the absolute bottom. I was doing a dog catcher deal. I was writing parking tickets. I rose up from there. I was a dispatcher. I actually answered the 911 call whenever people would call in. And then I took my entrance exams and passed, made it number one on the list of the department that I wanted to get hired onto. And I got hired and went to the academy and spent about 5 years on the street, just doing regular patrol work. And then got an opportunity to go into investigations and worked as a detective. Inside of that, I got attached to a task force, which was centered around crimes against children. And I learned from some of the top minds in the state how to do forensic evidence, how to do forensic interviewing. We learned how to talk to people, and I got a ton of experience. I was also attached to the Major Case Squad, which worked only on homicide, so I spoke to a ton of people. I was tasked with most of the crimes against people inside of my department for the time that I was in investigations, and I spent about 10 years in some way, shape, or form doing that. About 3 years before I left the police department, I was promoted to sergeant and spent 3 years running a shift and still doing some of the investigative work in the background. But all at once decided that this wasn't the life I wanted to be, and that was for a lot of reasons. My daughter was the right age. The administration was changing, and I didn't really have the same views as they did. So there was a lot of reasons why I decided to make this choice. But because I was attached to a cybercrime task force, I was taught technology at a basic level. And I took some other classes because I was super interested in it. And I took some other classes at my local community college, so I knew enough about it to where I could really have a good conversation about it. But then secondarily, I also was really good at talking to people. After doing homicide and sexual assaults and those types of crimes, I was really good at having a conversation with people. So a friend of mine owned a small technology company, and he actually got me my start. He asked me if I wanted to be in sales, and it started there. But being ever the student that I wasn't comfortable just walking in and doing sales. So let's back up just a little bit, because I think there's a different perspective here. Like, I don't fit the mold of what a lot of police officers looked like at the time. I wasn't huge and muscular, and I wasn't super A personality. And so I've always kind of had this propensity to go outside the realm. So while most salespeople that you'll find on YouTube or everything else are very in your face and they're super intense, and don't get me wrong, they're fantastic. There are some great names if that's your particular type of personality that you're looking for. But that isn't me. I'm more the heart of a teacher. I'm more intellectual. I'm more, let's have a great conversation and see if we make a good fit. That's probably why I'll never be super duper rich because of sales, because the reality of it is that I'm not a Grant Cardone. I'm not a person who's just going to go out there and just in your face, I'm closing every deal and it's time to go. Like, I would much rather have enough and just have good conversations and make sure that people get things that enhance their lives and services that make their businesses better. And that's what led me to this point. That's what led me ultimately to this channel. So last year in December, I had this thought process all year that I wanted to finish a book, and I hadn't done it. So in December, when it's very cold outside, my wife and I, we rented an Airbnb and we went there, and I just knuckled down and finished it. And she edited it for me, and we got it out there, and I finished the book. And I had a great time going through that process. And I learned so much about me and about my process and about what I wanted to do. And honestly, it's what led me right here. It's what led me to say, okay, I'm going to make a go of this. I want to teach people what I have learned so that they can maybe not make some of the mistakes that I made, and maybe they can learn from what I've seen, from what I've done, and reading my book and watching my YouTube channel and going through some of my courses, and maybe even doing some one-on-one training, because I think that's where some of this is going. While I really enjoy what I'm doing here, while I really enjoy writing the book and doing presentations on sales, what I really want to do is I want to talk one-on-one with, quite frankly, with you guys, with business owners, and help them build their strategy, and with young people that don't really know if they want to get into sales or not, or they're struggling when they first got into sales, or maybe they're like me and they're in their 40s and they're like, well, I don't know if I'm still in the right profession or not, or maybe there's some things that I can possibly learn, So I think that that's a big portion of this. I think a big thing that we're doing here is that we're going to teach some people. We're going to have a small following, sure, and that's okay. And that'll grow over time, and that's perfectly fine. But I want to talk directly with people. I want to have great conversations with people. So that's where this all ends. If you're interested in having that one-on-one conversation, that next level conversation, go to my website. It's linked below, and you can directly reach out to me from that website and see if we're a good fit. Let's just have a conversation about it. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. No big deal. If you're seeing this for the first time, and this is the first time you've seen me, I'd love it if you would like and subscribe. I think that you'll get a lot out of this. I think that as this channel grows, I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. And I think it's going to be a fun journey. Thank you very much. See you later.